Hi there. I'm Mckenzie of Par72 Yoga. Welcome to your Yoga for Golfers session. Today's focus is going to be the dynamic warm-up and then the post-round cool down. So you can do this class as two 30-minute sessions, the beginning before you head to the golf course, and the end when you come back after a long tournament or long round, or you can do it as a full 60-minute class. If you're new to my classes, there's a couple things that I'd like to remind you of. So props that I love to use. So first of all, strap. You can use a strap, a belt. You don't necessarily need a yoga belt. You can even use a hand towel. Strap is going to help you ease into some of those poses that require a little more shoulder mobility. If you can't reach your toes, you can always use a strap to bring your toes closer to you. Step on the strap, hold your feet. The other thing I really like is yoga blocks. So you can find these at Winners or HomeSense. Really, any fitness store is going to have them. And what the blocks do is they support you in certain positions, and they also bring the ground closer to you. So if you can't touch the floor, when we come into, say, a forward fold, you can bring your hands down to your blocks. The last thing is a kneeling pad. So if you've had knee surgeries, if kneeling's just uncomfortable for you, you can head to the dollar store or pick up one of these little gardening kneeling pads. So we do spend some time on our knees. So for example, if we're coming into a low lunge, you can pad under the knee, either using that gardening pad, or you can just take the side of your yoga mat and fold it over, and that's going to give you a little bit more padding. Great. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Give those shoulders a little roll, a little shake. We always start our Yoga for Golfers classes with a rotational test. So raise your right arm just to shoulder height. Then turn and open, reach behind you, find the spot on the wall where your fingers stop, and come back to center. Good, do the other side. So this rotational test is for you. This is going to show you where you start and how you finish. So notice the difference between the beginning and the end of class. And that's going to cue you as to whether you need to do some more focus on the upper body, if you're getting better rotation, for example, or if we spend a lot of time working the hips, if you get better thoracic rotation when you're doing that hip work, that's your cue that you're going to have to do a little more work on those hips. So go ahead and make your way down onto your mat. We're going to start in a resting pose. So that's with your feet about as wide as your mat. Let your knees knock together. And then we'll go ahead and cactus the arms. So arms are like goalposts. So 90-degree bend in the elbow, backs the hands resting on the mat. So if your hands are kind of floating in the air, that's where I really like these yoga blocks. So you can bring your blocks underneath your hands. Support your hands on your blocks. And then just go ahead and close the eyes down. Take a few breaths here. So we always start with a little bit of breath work in each of our Yoga for Golfers sessions. And this is really just to help you ground. And it's really a great way to train your body to quickly enter a state of rest and relaxation. These nice, long, deep inhales. And even longer exhales, really activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to double time when you take it to the golf course. For those first tee jitters, maybe you've got that downhill slider of a putt. Just taking a couple deep breaths is really going to help you relax. And if the body feels less tension, it's going to perform better. Good, 2 more breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose if you're able. Good. So blink to open your eyes. We're going to do windshield washer. So just take your knees apart. So feet stay where they are, about mat distance apart. And then just allow your knees to fall from one side and then take them over to the other. Just kind of warming up the low back. Maybe feeling a little stretch through the top of the thigh, the outer hip. Just keep going. And the next time your knees fall to the left, go ahead, pause here for 2 breaths. Really letting that top leg be heavy. And then take them back over to the right and pause here for 2 more breaths. Good. Draw your knees back to center. Then go ahead and bring your feet hip distance apart. Draw the left leg into the chest. Interlace your fingers across the front part of the shin. So compressing through the front of that left thigh. Maybe bring a little movement into that hip socket, drawing the knee out to the side, and then coming across center. Good, and then kick the sole of the left foot up to the ceiling. Bring the interlace to the thigh. You're gonna pull your toes towards your shin. As you push through the heel, draw the thigh towards the chest, getting a nice stretch through the hamstring. And then just start to point and flex your foot. So as you point, scrunch your toes together, and as you flex, spread your toes apart. And keeping the foot flexed, we'll take figure 4, so left ankle on top of the right thigh. Go ahead and check in. Give that left thigh a bit of a push. So option to stay here, or you can float the right leg, take the interlace behind the right thigh. And then just kind of shift your knees from side to side. I like to call this a waggle. It's just gonna help you get a little deeper stretch into that left hip. And you'll notice that there's a spot, kind of a sticky spot. So maybe hang out there for a breath or 2. Good, and then release your right foot to the floor. And we'll switch sides. So draw the right knee into the chest now, left sole of the foot's on the floor. Just compress through the front of the thigh, drawing the knee into the chest. And then bring a little movement into that hip socket, drawing the knee out to the side, crossing center. Good, and then kick the sole of the right foot up to the ceiling now. Take the interlace behind the thigh. Flex the foot, push through the heel, and then start to draw the thigh towards the chest, stretching the back line of that right leg now. And then start to point and flex again. So this little bit of footwork here. What we're doing here is warming up the muscles in the bottom of the feet, the toes, really important for balance, but also keeping us connected with the ground so that when we draw on those ground reaction forces, we're really maximizing what's in contact with the earth. Good, keeping the foot flexed. We'll take figure 4 on this side. So right ankle, left thigh. Go ahead and check in. Giving that right knee a little bit of a push. Now you may notice a difference between the sides, and that's totally normal. So golf is a unidirectional sport, so we're going to be tighter on one side than the other. So if this is enough of a stretch through that right hip, stay here. Option to float the left leg. And make sure you've got that right elbow pushing into the meaty part of the right thigh. So as you draw your left thigh into your chest, you're pushing out on that right thigh with your right arm. Now, some of us are really tight. So if you find that when you're in this position and your head is not comfortably on the floor, go ahead, grab one of those yoga blocks, tuck it under your head like a pillow, and you can get a little deeper into the stretch. Great, release your foot down to the floor. Okay, so we're gonna come into alligator. So rolling over onto one side. Your knees are gonna be bent at 90 degrees. Hands reach out at chest height, palms together. So again, if you can't get your head down to the floor, grab your handy dandy block, tuck it under your head. As you inhale, take the top arm up, let the shoulder fall behind you, reach open through the chest, and then exhale, close. Good, do that again. So inhale up and open, exhale, close. So these last two, as you exhale, pull the low belly in, start the rotation with your abdominals, your core. Good, one more. Okay, you can go ahead and either roll over or you can flip around. And we'll do the same on the other side. So inhaling up, exhale, close. See if you can keep that core activation here. One more. Good. Roll onto your back. We're going to come into bridge pose. So bring your ankles nice and close to your bum. Arms, wrists, palms press into the ground. So your knees are hip distance apart here. Take an inhale. And then exhale, press into your feet, lift your hips. So activate the glutes, squeeze the glutes. Notice if the knees want to drift open, keep the knees in line with the hips. And then exhale, release down. Good, we'll do that again. So inhale, exhale, lift the hips. So maybe you can feel a nice stretch across the tops of the thighs. And exhale, release down. Okay, so we're going to add a little dimension to this. So we're going to wake up the individual parts of the spine with an articulated bridge pose. So starting in the same position. So as you inhale, pull the belly button in. So feel like you're pressing the low back to the floor, little pelvic tilt. Now exhale. See if you can peel your spine up off the mat one part at a time. Pause at the top for an inhale. Now exhale, go the other way. So push the sternum down, hold, see if you can keep those hips high. Land the mid back, the low back, release the pelvic tilt. Good, do that again. So inhale, belly button in. Exhale, pelvic tilt as you peel your low back off the floor, mid back, upper back. Pause here for an inhale. And exhale, lower down. So push the sternum down. hold the tilt. Good, and release. Awesome. Okay, make your way to table. So that's hands and knees. And we're going to tuck those toes. So hands underneath the shoulders, hips over the knees. Good. Coming into cat-cow. So think about looking ahead of your fingertips. As you inhale, belly drops, pull the shoulders to the hips, lift the chin. Exhale, tuck the tail, tuck the chin round. Do that again, inhale, into cow. Exhale, cat. Push the mat away from you, spread your shoulder blades apart. One more. Pausing here in cat, take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, release. Good. So we're just gonna do a little rock here. So I want you to push your bum to your heels and then inhale, pull forward. Push your bum to your heels, pull forward. Last one, push your bum to your heels. Now, as you exhale, lift the hips, coming into downward facing dog. Pedal out your heels. You can do that by alternating, bending one knee and then the other. And then quiet your feet, put a little bend in the knees. Then push your chest toward your thighs. Nod your head yes a few times. Shake your head no. Walk your feet towards your hands. So bend your knees, see if you can keep your feet on the floor. Good. Bring the chest to rest on the thighs. Reach for opposite elbow. And then just take a little sway from side to side. Hang. And then keeping the knees soft, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the top, go ahead, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. And then exhale, roll them down the back. Good. So we're going to do a little bit of footwork here and balance. So again, waking up the muscles in the feet, working the toes and ankles, that's going to help us maintain our balance. And balance is super key when we're heading to the golf course. Uneven lies, when you've got in the bunker and you're trying to keep the lower body steady. So feet distance apart, a little bend in the knees. And then as you inhale, you're going to take your arms out to the side, reach up overhead. Now come up onto your tippy toes. So if you fall over, that's okay. And as you exhale, sink the heels, bring your hands down by the sides. Good. That again, inhale. Arms reach up, come onto the tippy toes. Sink the heels, exhale, hands by your sides. One more time, inhale. And grab them. And then go ahead and step to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms reach out to the side. Reach your hands up overhead, look at your hands. And then exhale, fold over your legs. So hands find the blocks or the floor. And then lift up halfway. So if you're using blocks, hands in your blocks, lift up halfway, nice long back. And then exhale, fold. So stretching through the hamstrings now, inhale, halfway lift. And fold. One, so if you don't have blocks, hands to the shins. Way. Good. And then you're going to step that right foot back, lower the right knee down. So again, if this is not comfortable on that right knee, grab your handy dandy little gardening kneeling pad. or you can just fold the edge of your mat over, whatever works. Okay, so right hip is over the right knee. Push down through this left foot. So I want your left hamstring working here. Take the right arm up, lean over to the left. So getting a nice stretch through the side body, that's gonna help us loosen up so that we can get nice rotation, backswing, that beautiful finish as we follow through. Good. Release. Bring your hands to your blocks. You may need to move that left foot forward and then allow your hips to sink forward. So the blocks are underneath the shoulders. Gentle release. Sink forward. Little release. Sink forward. Good. Lift the chest. So we're getting a stretch to the front part of this right thigh. Okay, release out of the lunge. Untuck those right toes. And then you're going to shift the hips back, coming into half splits. So right hip is over top of that right knee. And then we're looking for a stretch to the back of this left leg. So you may need to move your left foot even closer to the top of the mat and then flex the foot. So pull the toes to the shin, fold over your leg. So most golfers at some point complain about low back pain or just suffer through an entire round with low back pain. Often low back pain is caused by tight hamstrings. So this is going to help make sure that you're nice and limber before you head to the course. Good. Go ahead and bring all 5 toes down to the mat. A little stretch to the front of the shin. Okay. So then we're going to come back to table. So bring that left knee back. Tuck the toes again. Push the bum to the heels. Downward facing dog. Bend the knees. You're going to walk your feet all the way to the top of the mat. Grab your blocks on the way and fold. Inhale, halfway lift and fold. Do that again. Inhale, halfway lift and fold. This time, step that left foot all the way back. Lower the left knee down. Bring your blocks a little closer to you. Here we go, other side. So push down through this right foot. Take the left arm up now. Lean over to the right. Good, release. Hands on your blocks. Allow the hips to sink forward and down. Gentle release. Sink forward. Release. Sink forward and hold. The chin is lifted. Lift out of the lunge. Uncurl those left toes. Maybe take your right foot a little bit closer to the top of the mat. And then come into half splits. So you're stacking this left hip over your left knee. Lift the right toes. You can adjust the heights of your blocks. Maybe if you're nice and open through the hamstrings, hands find the floor. Fold over the left leg. Good. Bring all 5 toes down to the mat. A little stretch to the front part of the shin. Good. So now come back to table. So you're going to use your abs, bring that right knee down, tuck those toes, push your bum to your heels, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Walk your feet towards your hands. Come to the top of the mat, grab your blocks, and fold. Hands to shins, lift up halfway, and fold. Push down through your feet now. Inhale, arms reach up, come all the way up. And then exhale, hands by your sides. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of work to start opening through the chest and activating the muscles in our upper back. So grab one of your blocks. If you don't have a block, you can just strap here. And then feet are hip distance apart. You're going to take the block and hold it on its short end. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, squeeze the block as you lift your arms up. Exhale, lower just to chest height. Inhale, lift, lower, lift, lower. Good. Now, transfer the weight to the left foot. Lift the right leg. So if you can get the thigh parallel to the floor, great. If not, it doesn't really matter how high this right leg is. We're just trying to turn on the muscles. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to rotate to the right. So rotating towards the bent knee. Come back to center. Exhale, rotate. Center. One more, rotate. And center. Good. Release. Give it a little shake. So we're warming up everything that's involved in the golf swing there. Stabilizing muscles in that lower limb, thoracic, core, balance. All right, let's do it on the other side. So squeeze your block. Pull those arms back into their sockets. Don't collapse the chest. Open through the chest. Float that left leg. Good. Inhale. Exhale, rotate to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale. Center. Last one. Center. Good. Release. Good job. Shake it out. Okay, come back to the top of the mat. And then we're going to step that left foot back. Lower the left knee down. We're going to do one last little bit of work here. I'm going to turn so you guys can see me. So we're in this low lunge position again. You're going to take that left shin and you're going to swing it around so that the shin is parallel with the short side of your mat. Good. Now turn your chest so that it opens and it's in line with the long side of the mat. Cactus the arms. You're going to lunge into that right knee. Exhale, turn the chest to face forward. Inhale, release. Exhale, lunge, turn the chest. Good. So imagine I'm holding onto your right elbow and I'm turning you with that right elbow. Good. Release. Okay, switch sides. So step that left foot forward now. So you're on the right knee. Swing that right shin parallel. Open the chest. Cactus the arms. So you lunge forward. So lunging into the left knee. Turn the chest towards the knee. Good. Come back to center. Exhale. Center. Last one. Center. Awesome. Come back to hands and knees. Then we're going to take the knees wide, bring the big toes to touch. You're going to push your bum towards your heels. So if your bum doesn't get all the way to your heels, that's okay. You can lower the forehead down. Now, if your forehead doesn't get to the floor, grab a block. Rest your forehead on the block. And then soften the elbows. Bring the forearms and the wrists to rest on the mat. Allow the hips to be heavy, lengthening through the tail. Okay, gentle lift of the head. Even if you're using a block, you're gonna slide your block over to the left, walk your hands over to the top left-hand corner of the mat, and then sink your head and your hips back down, getting into a little side body stretch here. Breathing into those right ribs. Good, and then take your hands over to the right hand corner of the mat. Bring your block with you if you're using it. And then support your head on the block. Sink back down, breathe into the left side of the body. Good, come back to center. If you're using a block, maybe see if you can set it to the side, come all the way down. Allow those hips to sink down. Good, and then pull forward to table. So bring the knees under the hips. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Just pedal out your heels, releasing that compression through the knees. Good. This time, walk your hands back towards your feet and fold. Keeping the knees soft, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Let your head be the last thing that comes up, and when it does, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. And then exhale down the back. Okay, so that's your 30-minute dynamic warm-up. If you're heading to the course, have a great round. All right, if you're here for the second half or you want to keep going for the full 60 minutes, good stuff. Let's go ahead and grab those blocks. And you're going to take a seat. So my hips always get super, super tight from a golf game, especially if I'm walking. So this is a great way to relieve tension in those outer hips. And again, I love having blocks. If you don't have blocks at home, you can actually do this in a chair with your feet on the floor. Just make sure your knees are tracking in line with your toes. Bring your arms to the insides of the thighs. Bring the palms together. As you push out on your thighs with your arms, push your thighs into your arms, and then bring your thumbs towards your chest. Breathe. Good. So keeping your knees where they are, bring your arms out at chest height. And we're gonna imagine you have water on your fingers, and I want you to flick the water off your fingers. So we're gonna do this for a minute. So keeping those hips nice and active. So you're still drawing your knees out to the side. So forearm strength and wrist strength is really important for golfers because it's how we hang onto the club. And if we have weak wrists and weak hands, when we get to the top of the backswing, often what happens is we do this thing called casting. I'm a complete culprit for that. Halfway there, you got this. So by strengthening the muscles in our wrists and our forearms, we can retain all that power that we're generating from those ground reaction forces and transfer them to the club head. Jed, 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Whoo, good stuff. Hands find the floor, tip forward. lift the hips, toe heel your feet back to hip distance apart, and fold. Hands to shins, lift up halfway, and fold. Push down through your feet, inhale, arms reach up, come all the way up. Good, and then hands by your side. Okay, make your way to the top of your mat. You're gonna need one block for this next series. So keep the left foot forward, step this right foot back. Legs are straight to start. We're gonna focus on pushing our feet into the floor and then drawing your feet towards each other. So you're pushing down and you're drawing in. So legs are active, inner thighs are active. Good, hands on your hips. To the inside of your left knee. The right hand's gonna come behind you to the back of the hands and the small of the back. Good, open your chest, so pull this right shoulder back. And then add the arms, so coming into warrior two. So gazing over your middle left finger. And then reverse, take that right hand to the thigh. Take the left arm up. Sink down even more through that left hip. Good. Now exhale, left hand find your block. So bring your block to its highest height or its medium height. Go ahead and bring your right hand again to the small of the back. Open through the chest. Maybe look up over that right shoulder. And then option to take the right hand to the sky. Good. Bring your right hand down to the mat. Pop up onto those right toes. Set that block to the side and then go the other way. So take the left arm up, easy twist. Good. Your foot, right foot forward. So if getting that right foot forward doesn't make it all the way, you can do a little tap, tap, and then come to the top of the mat and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And fold. Push down through your feet, inhale, arms reach up, come all the way up. Good, and then exhale, hands by your side. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other side. So if you have your mat set up like I do in this little T, you can come to the top of the mat, you can just switch sides. Go ahead and take the right foot forward now. Step that left foot back. So again, legs are straight. So we want to activate the muscles in the lower body. So push your feet into the floor and then draw your ankles towards each other. Good, hands on your hips. Now start to bend into that right knee. Right hand to the thigh. Left hand comes behind you, open through the chest. So think about rolling this left shoulder open and then down the back. Add the arms, warrior two arms. Reverse, left hand, left thigh. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Left all the back again. Open the chest. Look up over that left shoulder. Maybe the left arm reaches up to the sky. As you exhale, bring that left hand down. Set your block to the side. Pop up onto the left toes. Take the right arm to the sky, easy twist. Good. Right hand down. Again, step your feet to the top of the mat and fold. Hands to shins, lift up halfway and fold. Push down through your feet, inhale, arms reach up, come all the way up. And then exhale, hands by your sides. Okay, make your way down onto your mat. For the second half, you're gonna need both blocks and a strap. So make sure you've got them handy. So go ahead and bring the legs out in front of you. The feet are flexed. Pull your toes towards your shins. Good, bring the arms to chest height. And then you're gonna hinge forward. So hinge and then release. Exhale, hinge. Release. Good, last one, hinge. And then let your hands fall to the floor. So here we're really trying to bring this lower rib closer to the top of the thigh. So nice and long through the crown of the head. Good, now release your feet and round through the upper spine. So let the crown of the head hang towards the floor. Loosey-goosey elbow. Feeling a nice stretch through the back of the neck. And then inhale, start to lift the chest. Good. Let's bring this right foot in to the inside of the left thigh. We're gonna come into a seated twist. So you're gonna hug your right leg with your left arm. Go ahead and bring this right hand behind you. The fingers point to the bottom of the mat. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, twist to the right. Maybe you can even bring the back of the left arm to the outside of the thigh. And release. Good, so bring the sole of that right foot now to the inside of the thigh. This one's called Jano Shirshasana. So you're gonna inhale, arms reach up. Square your chest off with the left leg. Bring your hands to chest height. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, release. Hinge. Release. Last time, hinge. Good, bring the hands to rest on either side of the leg. So you can play with this one a little bit. So if you're not feeling this in the hamstring, maybe you're feeling it more through that outer right hip. And if that feels good and you want a little more, you can soften this left knee and bring your sternum closer towards your leg. Good. Walk your hands back towards you. Then come into fire log now. So keep that Right leg bent, and now you're going to cross the left leg in front of the right. So your ankles are underneath your knees. This is where your blocks are handy. So depending on the flexibility in your hips, you may need one or both blocks. So sitting up nice and tall. You're going to walk your hands forward and then support your head on something. So figure out what height of blocks works best for you. And you know, if you're up on 2 blocks, that's okay. Notice if you're holding your knees up, soften your knees down towards the mat. As you settle into this pose, you can adjust the heights of your blocks. Good. Walk your hands back towards your shins. Go ahead, bring your blocks to the sides. And then bring your fingertips behind you. Take the feet as wide as your mat. We're going to windshield washer. Just make sure the blocks aren't actually in the way. The next time your knees go to the left, you're going to leave them there. So your knees are in kind of this 90-90 running shape. And then walk your hands around behind you. Doing a little stretch. So think about pushing this right knee towards the top of the mat. Good. And then come back to center. Okay, we'll switch sides. So bring this left shin in, extend the right leg long. Push through the heel. Go ahead and hug your left leg now with your right arm. Twist to the left. And again, maybe that elbow finds the left knee. Good. So go ahead and open that left thigh now. Take the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right leg. Inhale, arms reach up. You're going to square your chest off with the right leg now. Bring the hands to chest height. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, come back. Hinge. Come back. And last time. Bring your hands to rest on either side of that right leg. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Okay. So bring your fingertips. Actually, we're going to go the other way. So let's bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Windshield washer. And the next time your knees go to the right this time, so set them up so that left knee is pointing to the top of the mat. Walk your hands around behind you. So set up for fire logs on the other side. So left shin's going to be in front this time. Take that right shin over. So ankles, feet are flexed, ankles are under the knees. Grab your blocks. So sitting up nice and tall. Good. Now bring your chest forward, walk your hands forward, and then lower your head to your stacked blocks. Again, notice if you're kind of holding your knees up. See if you can soften so you get a nice deep stretch through the outer hips here. Relax your shoulders. Good. Walk your hands back towards your shins. Okay, so keeping one block, we're actually going to come up and sit on the one block. We're going to do a little work with the neck and the shoulders. So you can sit cross-legged. If sitting cross-legged is just not available to you, an option is to actually stack both blocks. And then you're going to kneel on either side of your blocks. So whichever is most comfortable for you. Then hands rest gently on the thighs. Close the eyes down, drop your chin to your chest. Inhale, roll your right ear toward your right shoulder. A little quarter circle. And then exhale, chin chest. Let's keep going to the right. So inhale, right ear, right shoulder. And chin chest. Good, one more time. And chin chest. And go the other way. So left ear, left shoulder. Chin chest. Good, two more times. So golf is one of those sports where your head actually, your body rotates around your head. You know, when you first start learning, they're like, keep your head still. So meet with chin on chest. So that creates a lot of tension in the neck. So lifting from the back of the head, stack your head on top of your shoulders. And then shrug your shoulders up to yours. So squeeze, 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 squeeze. And drop. Good, do that again. Drop. Last time. Inhale, up, squeeze. And drop. Cool. Give them a little shake. All right, so reach those left fingertips out to the side. You're gonna reach with your right hand, grab the left ear, and you're gonna gently apply a little bit of pressure, taking the right ear back over to that right shoulder. And release. Good, switch sides. So take the right fingertips out to the side. A little gentle pressure. Awesome. Release. Okay, so make your way onto your backs, grabbing your strap. This is my absolute favorite cool down stretch. So especially if you're playing multiple rounds in a week, or if you're walking in the heat, this is a great way to relieve some tension in the legs. So if you are using a strap, you're gonna strap or a belt, kick the left foot up to the ceiling. Go ahead and wrap the strap around the ball of your foot. So it's not in the arch, it's on the ball. And then hold one side of the strap in each hand. And you're trying to bring your toes over your head in this arc. So you're using the strap to pull your thigh closer to your chest. And arms are straight, so no bends in the elbows. If you want to intensify this, you can extend that right leg long. Just make sure that the right heel is supported, it's on the ground. Transfer the straps to your left hand. If it's not already, extend the right leg long. You're going to hold your right hip down with your right hand and then allow your left leg to fall open. So make sure that your left leg is good. Soften the knee, draw the leg back to center. Transfer the straps to your right hand. So make sure your hips are level. So sometimes you can sort of hook your fingers in your hip crease, push that left hip down, and then allow your leg to cross center. Ooh, so we're looking for a stretch through the IT band here, so the outside of that left leg. You can take the left arm out to the side. Now, as long as that left shoulder stays grounded, you can take your left leg all the way over to the right. Keep pushing that left hip down. Good. Soften the knee, draw the leg back to center. Release your foot from the strap. Just take a little mini shavasana here. Notice the different sensations between the right side and the left side. And then rebend both knees. And we'll switch sides. So kick that right leg up to the ceiling. Option to extend the left leg long. And transfer the straps to the right hand. Left hand on your hip, that left leg's extended, open to the right. Soften the knee, draw the leg back to center. Let's take the strap in the left hand, square off those hips first, and then allow your leg to cross center. So you can take that right arm out to the side in a T. You can take it to cactus. As long as that right shoulder stays grounded, your right leg can keep moving all the way over. Soften the knee, draw the leg back to center. Release your foot from the strap. Extend both legs long. Take your arms out to the side. If there's any props in the way, just kind of push them off to the sides. Maybe a little gentle roll of the head from side to side. And then come back to center, to stillness. Make any last minute adjustments here to feel comfortable on your mat. And if they're not already, close your eyes. Coming back to this state of relaxation. Try to clear your mind of all thought. We spend so much time doing. This final pose is really an opportunity to just be. Take one more full cycle of breath. And then with as few movements as possible, roll over onto one side. And stay there for 1 or 2 breaths. And then make your way back to standing. And we'll finish with our rotational test. With those shoulders, little roll, little shake. Then raise your right arm just to shoulder height. And turn and open to the right. Come back to center. Good, switch sides. And so. Good stuff. I hope you enjoyed your dynamic warm up and your post round cool down. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.